The Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association also plays a role in this investigation. It represents more than 10,000 public safety officers across the state and does have a legal defense fund for members, including the 4 officers that have been linked to the killing of George Floyd. The association works closely with the Minneapolis Police Union and helped facilitate our interviews. We thank them for that. And we spoke with Executive Director, that's Brian Peters, about the way forward. So you're paying their legal costs for all 4 of the officers?
Yes, all 4 officers are covered under the Legal Defense Fund. Every police officer, every citizen has a right to due process, and it just has to play out.
What to you would be a fair outcome in this particular case? I know it's not up to you. I get that.
Is there a fair outcome? I don't think there is. The facts of the case have not come out, and that'll come out in a criminal trial. But it's not for me to say. I think Officer Chauvins, he betrayed the badge, and there's no excuse for it.
Can you talk about the morale, the mood among the officers?
Minneapolis is suffering. This is, to me, a systemic problem with the entire leadership. The expectations that are put on cops these days is enormous. Deal with mental health, give it to the cops. Drug mental health, give it to the cops. Police officers have to try to put Band-Aids on systematic issues, and it's overwhelming.
Do you see this, Brian, as a black and white issue? Because the black community certainly does.
I never saw black and white when I was on the street.
I think it's great that you said you don't see it as black and white, but what you know about police officers, do you think for them it is a black and white issue, that white officers are either afraid or they're uncomfortable when they're dealing with black people on the streets? Do you think there's any truth to that whatsoever?
Police officers are forced to, again, deal with societal issues that they can't fix in 20 minutes. And we need to be looking at all of the other systemic things that create that divide between a white officer and a person of color. We're still pointing fingers at this point and not doing anything that we need to be doing.
Brian Peters, I thought, had a very touching point at the end of the interview. He held up thousands of letters that have come in from police officers and their families saying how much pressure they feel, how they feel unappreciated by the public at this particular time, that there are so many police officers who are doing a really good job and not enough focus is paid attention to that. But once again, you have to figure out a way to reform the department. We have to at least acknowledge that there's a problem.
Yeah.
With some of the techniques that are used. People are calling it systemic racism. So it's hard to advance when we can't even agree that there is a problem.
That's the first thing you have to do.
Yes.
I think his point, though, is also good that when he says that police are often asked to do things that society itself can't seem to fix.
Yeah, with the mental health issues.
Exactly.
Absolutely right.
And to do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, well, I mean, both of you make good points there. I mean, the systemic racism question, it's always amazing to me when there's a denial there because, black Americans are arrested, charged, incarcerated, and killed at a disproportionate rate. And if you're not saying that there's systemic racism that causes that, then what are you saying?
Yeah.
We don't have an answer on that.